What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video and to the channel. So for this video I am super excited because I'm going to be installing probably my most anticipated mod on my BMW F30 here. So I'm going to be upgrading my Pre-LCI xenon LED headlights that I have on my Pre-LCI F30 335i. Now for those of you who have purchased anything from my store, I've checked out my store, I'm going to be installing the exact LCI style headlights that I have available on the store. These have been a pretty popular item on the store, and I'm finally going to be installing them on my BMW F30. That way I can show you guys how to install them yourself and then give you guys a nice visual of how they actually look on video on the car. So without wasting any more time here, let's get right into it. So here we have the LCI style headlights, and as you guys can see, these look pretty much identical to the actual LCI headlights that come on LCI F30s. Taking a closer look here, you guys can see it has the exact LCI style daytime running LED headlight look. And then they're gonna have the exact LCI style LED low beam look, which pretty much are going to reflect off those pieces there. It's gonna be a full LED light reflecting off those pieces. In addition, it's going to have the LCI style LED turn signal up here on both. So yeah guys, these are literally an identical match to the LCI style headlights. You're probably not even going to be able to tell the difference once they're on. Now looking at the back side of the headlight, you can see our electrical connection there. You can see our headlight angle adjustments, so the up and down and then the right and left. You adjust them by turning these, which I'll probably have to do once I have them on the car. And then here I have a spot for the module that I'm going to need to take out of my Pre-LCI xenon headlights and install it into these. It's really easy to do. It's just held on by 2 screws. Simply slide it in and then screw it down, and that's all you have to do. It's important that you transfer over the module and install it here. That way these headlights can fully function properly. Without the module, they won't fully function. So yeah, that is an important step, and I'll show you guys that later in the video as I'm installing these. So yeah guys, it is pretty easy to install these. These are a direct replacement of the stock headlights. There's no additional, drilling or anything. They are secured the same exact way at the same points as the stock headlights. So all I'm gonna have to do is just take off the stock headlights, transfer over the module into here. Once that's in, I can install these directly back onto the car, and that is it. After that, they'll fully function and everything. Like I said, I may have to adjust the angle of the low beam so that it's not too low or too high or whatever. I'll have to see once I turn them on and start using them. So yeah, this installation should not be that difficult at all if you have a jack, some jack stands, and a bunch of Torx bits. I have all the tools here, and I will go over all of those as I am taking my stock headlights off and putting these back on. So I believe that is all of the context for these headlights, nothing crazy. So let's go ahead and begin installing these. Alright, so I went ahead and lifted the car up a bit so that I can take off the front wheels, and that is going to be necessary because I'm going to have to take off the front bumper and then also the inner fender liner in here to be able to take off the headlights, because there's a bolt on the bottom that you can't get to unless you take off the fender liner, and then there are some bolts inside the bumper that you're gonna need to get to. So yeah, to take off the front bumper, go ahead and remove this, and you can see on the top there are a few T-Torx screws. The Torx screws that are on the end, so this end and then that end, those are going to be T20. And all the ones in the middle are going to be T27 or T30. And then there are 4 more bolts, 2 on each side. There's 2 right here that I'm gonna have to get to once I remove the inner fender liner. They're like right here. And then 2 on the other side also. And then there are 9 8mm screws that are holding the inner fender liner in place. You can see there's 2 up there, 1 there, 2 right there, 2 there, or 3 there, 1 there, and then I believe that's everything. Oh, 1 more up there. So it should be a total of 9. And then same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on all this. almost forgot, but there are going to be a few screws on the bottom of the bumper that you're gonna have to remove. I've taken off like a lot of them. You can see those empty holes there, but I have 4 of them on. There's one there, another one there, and then 2 more down there that I'm gonna have to remove. Now, if you have PDC sensors, parking distance control sensors like I do, the bumper is still going to be held on by this electrical connection right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect that. Alright, so I got the front bumper off. So now, taking a closer look at the headlights. I believe there are 4 screws that are still holding the headlight in place. So there's one right here on the top, and there's 3 that you're gonna have to get from back here. So there's one right there, right here. You can see there's one back there that you're gonna have to use an extension to get to. And then one more right here. I believe that's gonna be a 10mm bolt, while the rest of these I believe are T27 or T30s. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and remove those 4 bolts. So to get the one all the way in the back there, I'm using like this long socket screwdriver extension setup with a bunch of adapters. And here's my T30 on the top. But there's a bunch of different other ways you could do this. This is just what I did with the tools I had. Alright, so as I'm trying to wiggle this out here, I noticed that I forgot about the electrical connection, so I took that out. And then there's one more point where it's connected to something, and that's right there. Like the wire is still secured by a little plastic piece. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to get that out, and then the headlight should be free. Alright, so I got one headlight out. I'm gonna go ahead and do the passenger side headlight now. Alright, so here we have a comparison of the new headlights and the pre-LCI old headlights. And for those of you who may not really notice the differences between, LCI and pre-LCI, you can see the daytime running light style is different. These have a circular shape. These have more of like a half circle cut at like an angle, which gives it a more, modern look than the pre-LCI. Also, you may notice that the pre-LCI headlights actually have a light up here, but it's a part of just the daytime running light, so it's just LED. On here, the turn signals are up here instead of just having this as a daytime running light, and there's no turn signal over here like there is on the pre-LCIs. So yeah, just overall, the LCI style headlight is just gonna give the F30 a more modern, updated look that I think looks a bit cooler than the pre-LCI look. Now, looking at the back of the pre-LCI headlight, you can see we have our module up here that I'm gonna need to remove and insert in this opening here. And you can see it's just held in by two T15 or T20 screws. I believe this is more for T20, but T15 also can fit to get these screws out. In addition, I'm gonna have to take off these metal clips here where these screws are secured into and transfer them over to the new headlight right here and the other 3 spots that have openings for the screws. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and transfer all those pieces real quick. Alright, so I have everything transferred over from the stock headlights to these. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect these to the car before I actually completely install them back on the car, just to make sure that they work and function properly. And when I do that, we will get our first look of these headlights fully activated and on and functioning and everything. So I'm super excited to see how these will look. Well, here we are, you guys. First look at these headlights, and as I said, like I described, they look identical to the actual LCI headlights. Wow, man, these look so good. So clean. Here you guys can see an up close and personal look here. So clean, man. These look so sick. Alright, so these are just the daytime running lights, so let's take a look at the low beam lights. So here is a look at the low beam lights. These are the lights that are going to be on whenever you know you're driving at night and you need to turn your headlights on. And like with the DRLs, they are identical to the LCI headlight look. They look super clean. Look at the other headlight over here. Alright, so now I'm going to check that the turn signals flash properly and that, you know, the hazard lights work, and then also check the high beams. Alright, so they appear to be functioning properly. Everything works. DRLs, low beams, turn signals, hazards, high beams. It seems like it's all working, so that is awesome, and they should be working. And I forgot to mention it earlier in the video, but you shouldn't need any coding for these to function properly. However, you can code them if they function in a way that you don't like. You may have noticed that the turn signal lights were on when the high beams are on, and I believe that's something you can code out if you don't like how that looks, so I'm probably going to do that. In addition, I have also noticed just now that the adaptive headlight malfunction warning has come on in my instrument cluster there, which is not surprising. This is a thing that happens when you change your headlights or do a custom retrofit or something like that. But again, this is something that also can be coded out. So I am most definitely going to do that. And hopefully I'll be able to show you guys how to code all that stuff out. So I'll save that for another video, since I just want this video to be focusing just on the headlights, installing them, and then showing you guys how they look. All right, so now that I have confirmed everything functions properly, I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall these back on the car. So basically just the reverse of what I just did. And then I'll show you guys the completed look of these headlights completely on the car and everything back on the car. So it has been about 3 weeks since I installed the LCI headlights, and I wanted to wait this long to do the last part of the video here. That way I get a feel for the headlights and to make sure everything works and there's no issues with them. And I did actually encounter one issue with these headlights right after I installed them, but I was able to find a solution and fix it. But I will go over that in a bit here. First, I just wanted to talk about the headlights in general and give you guys my overall opinion on these headlights and how they look and function and all that stuff. So let's get into it here. So giving you guys a nice full view of the F30 here. To start off, the front end of this F30, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love how the F30 looks now with these LCI headlights, the paint match GTS hood, and the M Performance style front lip. The F30 just looks so much cleaner than what it did before. The paint match GTS hood, the LCI headlights, and the M Performance front lip what it looked like before this just was not good. I can't believe I had it looking like that. Just it looks so much cleaner now with this setup here. So yeah, specifically about these headlights, they just look so good. That's all I can really say to describe them. Look so much better than my pre-LCI headlights. It also helps that these headlights have a brand new lens that hasn't seen any, road debris and scratching and sun exposure. Unlike the lenses on my pre-LCI headlights, they were pretty beat up with a bunch of rock chips, road debris, fading, cracking, scratches and all that. So that also played a big factor in why I love these headlights, because I got new lenses also. And, it just makes the overall front end of the car just so much cleaner with, clean lenses. But aside from the lenses, obviously in general, these headlights look so much better than the pre-LCI style headlights. In my opinion, I know some people would disagree and say that the pre-LCI looks better, but I have to disagree on that one. I think the LCI looks so much more modern and aggressive, and I just absolutely love how it looks. Now, I know to people who already have an LCI F30 with the LCI LED headlights from factory, these really aren't anything crazy, because they just have the OEM look of the LCI headlights. But to me and all the pre-LCI owners, these make a huge difference in the front end of the car. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know that I'm aware that these headlights really aren't anything unique or different. They are literally just an OEM look. They do not stand out at all. You would just think this is an actual LCI F30. And in general, honestly, the F30 just looks like your average F30 340 build with the GTS hood and performance front lip. It really doesn't look like anything crazy or unique, different, whatever, since it's also white, which is a pretty common color. But the car is still clean nonetheless. In my opinion, it looks so clean despite not being anything different than most other F30 builds. But yeah, bringing the focus back to the headlights here, let's go ahead and take a closer look at these headlights. Once again, the DRLs, which are the only part that is activated right now, look amazing, identical, exactly the same as the actual LCI headlights, as I mentioned already. The entire, glass piece or whatever piece is in there that illuminates, or that the light is illuminating, it is full and complete. There are no spots where it's less bright or brighter than other spots, you know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely no issues with the DRLs in terms of how they look. Now let me go ahead and turn on the low beam, since I haven't really shown you guys what those look like now with the headlights on the car. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. So here we have a look at the low beams now activated. Again, looks identical, exactly like actual LCI headlights, where it reflects off the back piece there. Let's go ahead and get a full look here of both. Looks so good. I do have to say though, the only thing I kind of don't like about these headlights is that the turn signal, the orange light, is constantly on and activated if the low beams are turned on. But at the same time, I understand why it's doing that, because on my original headlights, the turn signal did the same thing, like it was always on if you turn the headlights on. So the car is programmed to do that, so I understand why it's on the actual LCI headlights. Obviously the turn signal light isn't on, it's just the LED light that reflects off those pieces back there. So that's really how you can tell the difference, that it's not an actual LCI headlight. But it still looks good overall. It doesn't look horrible. It actually looks kind of cool and unique, since, like I said, all the actual LCI headlights don't do that. So now let me actually show you guys the turn signals when they're active. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the hazards on real quick. So here's a look at the hazards, or the turn signals when they blink and flash. Looks just like the actual LCI headlights with everything else on the headlight. Now I did end up adjusting the height of the low beams, because I did mention that at the beginning of the video where I said I might have to adjust them. And I did indeed have to adjust them lower, because when I first took the car out for a drive at night, the low beams were pointed like all the way like in the trees, in the power lines, like it was nowhere near the ground. Like they're supposed to be shining like on the road, not like in the air, and they were shining in the air, which was kind of funny, but it kind of was hard to see sometimes because it wasn't shining in front of me on the ground. It was shining like on the signs, since, you know, they're reflective at night. So yeah, I adjusted them lower using the white piece that I pointed out at the beginning of the video when I was showing you guys like all the parts and just the headlights in general. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys real quick how I adjusted them. I'm gonna have to open up the hood real quick. So taking a look here, if we look inside this hole right here, it's kind of hard to see. In the center of it, oh, you can kind of see it there. In the center, you can see there's a little opening for an Allen key, or like a 5mm Allen. So if you turn that using the Allen, if you turn it clockwise, it will lower it, and if you turn it counterclockwise, it'll raise the height of the low beam. So I turned it clockwise to lower it, and yeah, that's all you have to do to adjust the headlight. You just have to find a spot that is good for you. So you may have to adjust it multiple times. You know, you take it out for a drive after adjusting it once, seeing how it is. If it's too high or too low, you adjust it a little bit more in whichever direction. So yeah, super simple, not difficult at all. So yeah, that's about it for the low beam adjustment there. Go ahead and close the hood. All right, so moving on to the issue that I mentioned earlier that I had with these headlights. So right after I installed them, I went out to take some pictures and video. And while I was out, the driver's side DRLs, the daytime running lights, stopped working, and only the passenger side was working. And I panicked, you know, I thought like these headlights were defective or I did something wrong. But all I had to do to fix that issue was switch the modules. The modules were the pieces that I transferred from the original headlights to these. So what I had to do was switch those. So I put the driver's side into the passenger side, and then the passenger side into the driver's side. And once I did that, it fixed the issue immediately, and I have not had that issue since doing that. They've been functioning properly with no issues at all over the last 3 weeks. So yeah, that is one thing that could happen. I guess the modules are selective and need to be on a certain headlight, I guess. So if you have that issue, that is one thing you could try to fix the issue. So yeah, I think that is pretty much everything in regards to these headlights. I may have missed something, but I know this video is getting pretty long, and I do want to start wrapping this up here. So if you guys have any questions on things I didn't address in the video, feel free to comment those down below and I'll answer you there. So yeah guys, I am absolutely satisfied with these headlights. I absolutely love these headlights. Easily my most favorite mod, probably on the F30 next to my custom steering wheel, because these just look so clean, so much better. Just made the front end look like a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I don't have any other issues with the front end anymore like I did with my previous setup. So many things wrong with that setup, but this one, nothing at all. There's nothing I need to change or want to change or don't like. It all just looks complete and clean, just how I want it, with an OEM look. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video here. If any of you are interested in getting yourself a set of these headlights, as usual, I will leave a link in the description of this video directly to my website if you guys want to possibly purchase these or anything else from my store. If you end up buying anything, I just want to say thank you so much. It really is amazing that I'm able to help you guys find parts for your BMWs and help you guys mod them and do all these cool things similar to what I'm doing with mine, because we all share the same passion here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this if you are new here, if you liked what you saw. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video.